Hello and welcome again to the Railsplitter Athletics Report. I'm your host, Rusty Peace, and we've got another great show in store for you tonight. We are officially into the month of October, which means that teams are now starting to jostle a little bit in the conference standings, and of course we are preparing for many upcoming championships and tournaments. That's just around the corner. So every match now that is played is vital to the success of the LMU athletic teams in their effort to get to postseason play or postseason competition. Our guest tonight will be Helly O'Dana, head coach of the Lincoln Memorial University soccer teams. We'll talk to him about some big action this week, both in conference and non-conference play. And, of course, a little bit later on, we're going to be talking with LMU head golf coach Travis Muncy about the Railsplitter and Lady Railsplitters' recent endeavors in the Myrtle Beach Fall Intercollegiate. And they had some pretty good performances over there at that particular event. So do stay with us. We've got a great show in store for you, and we're going to take a break, and we'll be right back on the Railsplitter Athletics Report.
Communications is your local radio and television stations bringing your local information, local news, and the best music from yesterday and today. Sigmund Communications was established in 1987 on the campus of Lincoln Memorial University. Since then, we have been involved in community events and other projects. Sigmund Communications is not only your local radio and television stations, but we are a learning facility aimed at educating students in the field of broadcast communications. Sigmund Communications, not just the great building with satellites that sits on the hill.
We're now MediaStream, bringing home to you more and more improvements. As your hometown team, we're dedicated to bringing our friends and neighbors more service upgrades than ever before. Always available 24/7 customer service and technical support. 30-day money-back guarantee on services. Improved bundles that will save you money. Get ready to do more of the things you love with the people you love and with savings you'll love. Call 1-800-392-2662 for details. MediaStream, bringing it home to you.
Bringing it home to you.
Since 1973, DeRoyal has been a leader and an innovator in manufacturing products for the healthcare industry. DeRoyal supplies more than 20,000 products and product lines such as acute care, orthopedics, wound care, and trauma. DeRoyal is proud to be the largest supplier of orthopedic soft goods to clinics and hospitals in the nation. Since its start in Tazewell, Tennessee, DeRoyal has grown to open factories in over 29 locations worldwide and employs over 2,000 people. DeRoyal, a name you can trust and an employer you can count on.
Looking for efficient, compassionate, and comprehensive health care for you and your family? Visit the University Medical Clinic. All providers are faculty members of LMU's DeBusk College of Osteopathic Medicine and are board certified in their specialty. Multiple specialties available including family medicine, internal medicine, OBGYN, and osteopathic manipulative medicine. With locations in Harrogate and New Tazewell and most insurance plans accepted, the University Medical Clinic is here to serve you. Call 423-869-7193 for an appointment. University Medical Clinic.
Welcome back to the Railsplitter Athletics Report. You know, last week was a big one for the Lincoln Memorial University volleyball team as they captured their fourth consecutive win of the week by knocking off the Bears of Lenoir-Rhyne University to remain in a tie for the top position in the latest South Atlantic Conference race. LMU reeled off a 3-0 win by winning 25-17, 25-15, and 25-13 en route to the victory. On Saturday afternoon, the Lady Railsplitters made a clean sweep of the week's competition when they also knocked off Brevard College in straight sets by winning 27-25, 25-15, and 25-14 to move to 12-5 overall and 5-1 in league play. The Lady Railsplitters now hold a half-match lead over Tusculum College, who also has a 5-1 conference record as they prepare for this week's action in West Palm Beach and Lakeland, Florida. And head coach Jenny Michael believes that consistency will be the key to the Lady Railsplitters' success.
When we saw them the first time, we had them on the ropes, to be honest, in the first two sets. They kind of steamrolled us in the third set, but we just did not play consistently. I feel that we're playing at a better, more consistent level right now, with the exception of some highs and lows today. But if we can play more consistently, even though we're going to be in their gym, I think some good things can happen.
This weekend, the LMU volleyball team travels to Palm Beach, Florida to take a two-match set in the Bash at the Beach hosted by Palm Beach Atlantic State University. LMU will play Palm Beach Atlantic and Bentley University before traveling to Lakeland, Florida on Sunday to take on Florida Southern. And Saturday morning, the LMU cross-country teams ventured up to Louisville, Kentucky for the annual Greater Louisville Classic. The event was possibly the largest the two teams will participate in this season and featured 38 teams participating in the men's 8K race along with 306 total runners. The women's 5K race showcased 42 teams and 339 total participants. The Railsplitters were paced by Bradley Maldonado's 19th place finish at a time of 26:50:30. As a team, the Railsplitters finished 11th among the field of 38, while the Lady Railsplitters finished 6th out of 42 teams and were paced by senior runner Sofia Lopez Miamendi with a time of 19:49:88. When we talked with LMU head coach Jeremy Donahue earlier this week, he was very pleased with his team's performances.
And ran real well this past weekend up at the Louisville Classic. We were pleased with how we improved 1 through 6 with our guys. They all took a 1 to 2 minute jump forward in their times. And then we improved our placement on years past at this race. We were real competitive, got out quick, which is what we needed to do at this race. Just the nature of the course and the competition forces you to get out quick. And so they had to do that and learn how to handle feeling that fatigue from early on and getting out quick and then race. And they did that real well. We had to go this past weekend without our number 5 runner. So, we still had a good placement without the number 5, and hoping going forward, if we get him back healthy, we're going to improve on that performance and, continue to group our top 4 real close together, and then with our 5 in there, run competitively over these next couple weeks. And then on the women's side, we I think we came away feeling like we could have done a little bit better, and that's a good sign, because we had a huge improvement on what we did there last year. It's probably one of the best performances as a team over the last 5 or 6 seasons they've had. 1 through 9 that ran at the race, again made a big jump in time, ran strong times compared to past seasons teams. Again, they had to do the same thing, get out quick, learn to race after they had that fatigue in their legs from their fast early 800. And some of them maybe struggled a little bit more with that than they were ready for, but that's good to get that under their legs right now and experience it before we get to the bigger meets later in the season. We ran real strong up front with our 1 through 3 runners being in a close gap. Our number 4 runner ran with a little injury, so wasn't where we expected her to be. And then our 5th runner came through real huge for us, closing the gap on the 4th, and gave us a 6th place finish out of 42 teams. We feel like we were maybe the 3rd best team there, so still room for improvement, but a good showing for us nonetheless as we move forward over the next few weeks.
The LMU cross-country teams now have this week and next week to prepare for the Wilmington Fall Classic to be held in Wilmington, Ohio, October the 12th. The event will be the final outing for both teams before the upcoming South Atlantic Conference Championships to be held in Greenville, Tennessee, October 20th. And despite the home field advantage, the Lincoln Memorial University women's soccer team was forced to settle for a 0-0 tie with the South Atlantic Conference opponent Anderson University on Saturday when the Lady Railsplitters and Trojans met in regular season play. LMU and AU played 90 minutes of regulation and 20 minutes of overtime, but neither team could find the back of the net. The push moves the Lady Railsplitters to 5-2-1 overall and 2-1-1 in league play. On Wednesday afternoon, the LMU women traveled west to Nashville and took on non-conference opponent Trevecca Nazarene University and were stunned by the Trojans 1-0 in that outing. The loss drops the LMU women to 5-3-1 on the season as they prepare for this weekend's conference road match with SAC opponent Wingate University in Wingate, North Carolina. The LMU women are 2-1-1 in conference play, while the Bulldogs enter this weekend's matchup with a 3-1 conference mark. And Saturday looked as though it was going to be a long day for the Lincoln Memorial University men's soccer team when visiting Anderson University came to town and scored the opening goal less than 5 minutes into the match. That 1-0 lead sparked the Railsplitters to a huge urgency and a barrage of offense that produced 7 unanswered goals by the end of regulation. The Railsplitters' 7-1 victory over the Trojans was their 5th this season and put the LMU men at 5-2-1 on the year while moving their SAC record to 2-2. On Wednesday evening, Heliodana and his Railsplitter soccer team traveled to Nashville, Tennessee to take on the Trojans of Trevecca Nazarene University and came away with a dominating 4-0 win to improve to 6-2-1 on the year while remaining 2-2 in South Atlantic Conference play. LMU controlled every aspect of the match from the opening touch, outshooting the Trojans in shots on goal 13-1 while placing 9 shots on frame. This Saturday, the Railsplitters also travel to Wingate, North Carolina to take on the Bulldogs of Wingate University in a key midseason conference matchup. The Bulldogs are 7-1 overall, 4-0 in conference play entering this weekend's match, and there will definitely be no love lost between these two teams. Their matches are usually very physical, have a lot of fouls, and register a lot of cards, and Saturday's conference battle at Wingate will be well worth the price of admission. And here to talk more about this Saturday's matchup and the LMU men's soccer team's play is head coach Helly O'Dana. Coach, first of all, it's been a big week for you in both men's and women's plays.
Yeah, the women, as you mentioned, had a couple of tough battles. First one, 0-0. I know you're not a very big fan of 0-0s.
Hate the tie.
but we knew how much that game meant, and so did Anderson. And the problem is the way things are shaping with the conference in the women's side, it's possible that it will come down to who is going to host between us and Anderson and playing pretty much each other. So it was a lot in stake and ended up being a 0-0. And then we go on a out of conference, but still regional game at Trevecca, and it was a very, very tough game. And similar to Anderson, but we probably had 3 chances to score. They had 2. They put theirs in. We lose. But we're ready for Saturday with the women. You know, Wingate last year won the conference, and they're possibly a contender this year again. But I think the gap really has narrowed. And although we're still a young club, I think we're poised to steal that one.
The men's team, Coach, seems to me they're very much what we would refer to as a sleeper. I mean, they come out a little bit slow, but boy, when they get cranked up, it's hard to compete with them. Yeah,
I mean, I don't know if I agree with the sleeper concept. What it is the men, they feel the early pressure to not concede first, and that was such an important goal that they set for themselves, and it almost sort of works against them from the standpoint that they get edgy early in the game, you know. But every game this year so far, we go down the wire. Win, lose, or tie, whoever's playing us will have to put in 90 minutes. But boy, if we score first, and if we put a second goal in, you better be ready to defend a barrage, because our guys, when they relax, they just smell the blood, everything clicks, and their volume of offense just goes up tremendously. And I feel that in those days we can beat anybody.
You lost a large class with your graduating class last year on the women's squad, and you do have some veterans returning, but for the most part, this is a very young women's soccer team.
Oh, without a doubt. We're starting 8 underclassmen, sometimes 9, and most of them freshmen. But as I told the women yesterday, you know, let's not be the kind of generation that will say, all right, next year is our year. You know, I don't like that. I want to make it happen now. You don't know, the window closes, things change, so we want to make it happen now.
Let's talk about the upcoming weekend. You travel to Wingate University. It's the farthest road trip anywhere in the South Atlantic Conference for you. Wingate typically is a tough place to play, both in women's and men's soccer, but it seems like the men's soccer match has gained all the attention over the last few years simply for the fact that it's just such a physical match.
Yeah, back in the days, you know, it's always been like that, but it kind of it worked out in a conference that we either see them late in the season when everything is on the line, or middle of the season, which is the case this year, in which it totally separates the pass, you know. And again, this game is going to be huge. They're really on a higher standing right now, but a very, very close margin that if we beat them, not only do we position ourselves to be a second or even a first seed in the conference, but also to go to nationals, you know. So this is a big, big game for us.
Compare and contrast the styles of play. I mean, you've got Wingate, who plays the European or direct style of soccer. You've got LMU, who plays the South American or Brazilian style of soccer. Each have their advantages and disadvantages, but compare and contrast those two.
Well, if you're talking about the men, I'm smiling here because you probably don't know this, but I guess they're trying to emulate us, you know. I mean, this year they have 6 Brazilians, and
interesting matchup this weekend.
And they're playing our style, and funny enough, they're playing a 3-5-2, which my past 11 years here, we've played 10 of these years 3-5-2. So it's almost like they're trying to do what we've always done. But I'm looking forward to this game.
I may be comparing apples to oranges, but you know, if you relate that kind of thing in terms of basketball, they say teams that like to press don't like to be pressed. Do you think that how many times does your team actually see a team that emulates their style of play?
Not very often, but the funny thing is that how crazy this year is. We're historically more of a technique and style team, and this year we're battlers. I mean, if you look at us and you don't know better, you probably think we're the Europeans, you know, but we can mix and match. Historically, we would not like to be pressed, and this year we look forward to it because we're so good getting out of tight space. So again, this is going to be a very, very, very good game, and I'm looking very much so forward to it.
Let's flip it over to the women's side. Obviously, the Lady Railsplitters are looking to get back on the winning track. The Bulldogs have the home field advantage. Again, tough place to play. What do they have to do to come away with a victory?
Now, the women will be a very, very physical game, and Wingate is big, very, very big. And that's one of the goals that we had in recruiting this year. Our average is pretty tall this year. We're 5'9", 6 foot all over the place. But Wingate not only is tall, but very physical. So our young girls will have to really battle that part of the game. Figure a way to put the ball back on the ground because we are still a possessing team, but just fight the emotions of it. They're going to be, you know, pulling shirts and fouling from behind and just pushing off and trying to get away with whatever they can, and they've been successful at it. We don't want to do that because that's not our style.
Well, of course, now you'll play the matches this weekend on the road at Wingate, but next weekend you do return home. In addition to the fact that it's going to be, I believe, South Atlantic Conference match, it's going to be homecoming, so that adds a little more fuel to the fire for you.
Yeah, I mean, we have a couple of very big matches coming up. You know, Tusculum on the horizon, Brevard, and these. By then, we'll know truly where we stack. But it's good and fun to be back home for homecoming for once. You know, we're always depending on the South Atlantic schedule to be lucky enough to play at home at homecoming, and this year it is so. Senior Day, all that, and I have a feeling that it will just it'll be contagious to the attitude of the players, and we'll put up a show.
A little bit before Coach L's time, but incidentally, during homecoming weekend, the Lincoln Memorial University soccer program will receive another accolade as Gretchen Deaver will be inducted into the LMU Athletes Hall of Fame. Deaver, of course, played 1 year for Mike Varga, played 3 years for Jeff Winterberger. She becomes only the third women's soccer player ever to be named to the LMU Athletes Hall of Fame. And I know, Coach, it's just a matter of time before some of your group starts getting in there. But we want to wish you the best of luck this weekend against the Bulldogs, and we look forward to talking with you next week and then seeing your matches here against Tusculum and Brevard.
Thank you, Rusty.
All right, Heliodana and the Railsplitter and Lady Railsplitters head to Wingate this coming Saturday. We'll have results next week on the Railsplitter Athletics Report. We're right back after this.
Families adopt children from around the world and in our own backyard.
I am teaching ethics to the next generation of lawyers.
I will make a difference for the underserved of this region.
I will be an advocate for my clients.
As a prosecutor, I fought for those who couldn't speak for themselves.
I'm a lawyer and professor.
I will be a lawyer.
I will be a lawyer.
I will be a lawyer.
I guess we'll take Morty.
Yes. Pick last. Ouch. A vault will put you back on top. Quenches and kicks. Incoming! Yeah! You're a super soda mercenary! Vault! Drinks like a soda, kicks like an energy drink. Get to it!
History comes alive at the Abraham Lincoln Library and Museum on the campus of Lincoln Memorial University in Harrogate, Tennessee. Located 60 miles north of Knoxville and 5 minutes from the entrance of Cumberland Gap National Historic Park, the museum is home of one of the largest privately held Lincoln collections in the country.
A place to learn and play. My museum includes interactive exhibits as well as special events and educational programs. For more information, go to www.lmunet.edu.
We represent the Coke brand. We would like to sue Coca-Cola Zero. Would you say that we have a case?
For what?
for taste infringement.
We want to just sue them back to the Stone Age to send a message that they're tampering with really the flagship of the company.
It's one company. It's like you suing yourself.
Yeah, but they're on a different part of our floor.
Da, 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 da.
Welcome back to the Railsplitter Athletics Report. On Monday and Tuesday, the Lincoln Memorial University men's and women's golf teams traveled to Sunset Beach, North Carolina to participate in the annual Myrtle Beach Fall Classic. For the Lady Railsplitters, this week's tournament marked their second consecutive runner-up finish and third top 5 finish as the LMU women placed second in the event, turning in a 2-day total 613, 21 strokes behind eventual champion St. Leo University, who posted a team score of 591. The LMU women were led by Whitney Ball, who turned in rounds of 75 and 73 for a combined total 148. Good enough for a third-place finish, not bad. And then you turn over to the men's side. The Lincoln Memorial University men also made a strong showing at this year's Myrtle Beach Intercollegiate. The Railsplitters placed 4th, and 2 team members finished inside the top 10. The LMU men turned in a 2-day total 570, 7 shots behind tournament champion Mount Olive College. Barton College, Wingate University and Belmont Abbey College rounded out the top 5. LMU freshman Connor Froning paced the Railsplitters with a runner-up finish. Froning fired rounds of 70 and 68 for a combined total 138, while senior Jamie Chapman turned in scores of 70 and 72 for a 2-day total 142 and placed 10th overall. Travis Muncie joins us now, head coach of the Railsplitter and Lady Railsplitter golf teams. And Travis, Shy winning the thing, I mean, that's a pretty good showing over there at this week's event.
Yeah, both teams were very impressive this weekend. Let's start with the men. You know, we shoot 6 under for the tournament. The week before we shoot that and we win by 8. This weekend was a good showing for the men. We played well. We just come up a little short, but you know, 7 shots isn't that big of a deal. We had a little bit of a hiccup the first day on hole 15. We had about 3 guys knock it out of bounds there, made a couple doubles and a triple. We don't do that, we're right in the hunt. So it was a really good showing. We got some young guys on the team. We have 1 senior and the rest sophomores and freshmen. So great showing for the men. On the women's side, another great showing, solid play for the women. St. Leo, I think, played a little over their head the first day. You know, they shot 291, which doesn't happen very often. That was way out above. But they shot 301 the second day, and we shot 305. So, you know, we were right there in it. It's another great showing for the women. You know, we have 4 seniors, you know, on the women's team, and had a junior transfer in, which really helped the program. The women are playing really strong right now.
I got to go back to the men for a minute, Travis. I mean, let's talk about Connor Froning for a minute. Here's a guy who comes in. To me, I knew he played golf. I saw him play in the LMU golf outing some time ago. I knew he wanted to be a Railsplitter. His mother and father both went here. His father played a little baseball, a little bit of basketball. His mother was a cheerleader. But was this kid under the radar or what in terms of golf? Because he came in and won the tournament last week, and now he comes in and plays second this week.
No, he wasn't under the radar. We had to go up with some big schools to get him. University of Memphis wanted him, UTC wanted him, Middle Tennessee wanted him. I mean, there was a lot of schools out there that wanted this kid. He's a great player, and he's already come in and shown that. You know, he's won. His first tournament was a little rough, but that was to be expected. And his last 2, he's won and came in second. So he's going to be a great, great player for the Railsplitter team.
You graduate a guy last year like Kennedy, and then you got Jamie Chapman, a guy coming back who's a solid guy to lead this team. And it's almost as like a revolving door. You're reloading, you're getting the new blood in here, and it looks up again.
Yeah, I mean, Connor has been a great replacement for Kennedy. I mean, he stepped right in. He's averaging under par just like Kennedy did. So he's been the Kennedy replacement for us.
Whitney Ball comes in. She's seems like she's leading you consistently throughout the fall season. Desta Coker, one of your more experienced players on there, has struggled a little bit, but nonetheless, all in all, you've had great team performances.
Yeah, I would have to say that from top to bottom on men's and women's, the teams are very well-rounded and very competitive. You know, you have Brittany McCowan, senior back. She's played very solid. She's just been 1 or 2 strokes out of, you know, placing an all-tournament. She did make all-tournament team up at Tusculum. But those 3 seniors there, you know, Whitney, Desta, and Brittany have all been really solid to the program.
Well, Coach, it's looking like a good fall season. I almost wish that this was the spring season and just carry right on over. You almost hate to go into dormancy over the next few months, but it is what it is, and you have to do it.
I'm looking forward to it, though. I think we're just going to get better with time, so I'm looking more forward to the spring.
Coach, congratulations thus far on a great fall. Good luck in the spring.
Thank you.
All right, when we come back, we're going to close out the show with some upcoming events this week in LMU athletics. Do stay with us.
Nestled at the foot of the Cumberland Gap, Lincoln Memorial University honors the vision and spirit of Abraham Lincoln. Lincoln's values are perfectly in sync with the modern educational experience at LMU. Our students find personal attention is a way of life and a way to success. If Lincoln Memorial University fits your vision of college, visit our website at lmunet.edu for more information.
Sigmund Communications is your local radio and television stations bringing your local information, local news, and the best music from yesterday and today. Sigmund Communications was established in 1987 on the campus of Lincoln Memorial University. Since then, we have been involved in community events and other projects. Sigmund Communications is not only your local radio and television stations, but we are a learning facility aimed at educating students in the field of broadcast communications. Sigmund Communications, not just the great building with satellites that sits on the hill.
We're now MediaStream, bringing home to you more and more improvements. As your hometown team, we're dedicated to bringing our friends and neighbors more service upgrades than ever before. Always available 24/7 customer service and technical support. 30-day money-back guarantee on services. Improved bundles that will save you money. Get ready to do more of the things you love with the people you love and with savings you'll love. Call 1-800-392-2662 for details. MediaStream, bringing it home to you.
Bringing it home to you.
Again, welcome back. Folks, it's hard to believe, but in the first week of October, there are no LMU athletic sporting events at home this coming weekend. I know that my friends over at Sports Information, Scott Erland and Bill Porter, are probably jumping for joy and have made plans to go out and do something, but LMU soccer team on the road, LMU volleyball team on the road, cross country's not in action this weekend, so they have a weekend off, and that's a very rare thing this time of year. However, the upcoming week is a big one, and of course we'll talk about it on next week's show. Homecoming weekend at the LMU campus, we've got a lot going on in terms of athletics. The soccer teams are at home, but the premiere of the LMU documentary entitled The Icon, about former Lincoln Memorial University baseball and basketball coach and athletic director Dean Bailey, that will air Friday evening in the Duke Auditorium on the LMU campus at 6 o'clock. And I think admission is free to the public. We'd love for you to come out and check it out. I know Adam Plyler, my co-producer and editor, has worked very hard on it this week, and it's been a process in the making over the last several weeks, but it's going to be well worth the price of admission and to check it out. It's a lot of our history, and we'd love for you to check it out. Folks, to keep up to date on all that's going on with LMU Athletics, pull up the LMU Athletics website, www.lmurailsplitters.com. You'll find everything you want to know about Lincoln Memorial University Athletics. That's about it for tonight. Until next week, for everybody behind the scenes, I'm Rusty Peace. Good night, everybody.